From a spark to a flame, so go the issues in football. Like, is Zinedine Zidane the coolest manager alive? Has Eden Hazard lived up to the hype? And which football personalities should have been banned from the microphone? These are the burning issues. Once composed on the pitch, now calmly conquering the world in charge of Real Madrid, is Zinedine Zidane the coolest manager alive? When Zinedine Zidane ascended to the role of manager at Real Madrid in January 2016, he knew he was stepping into the lion's den. For one, Zizou was given the gig on the same day Rafael Benitez joined the very long line of Real managers, unceremoniously axed for their efforts. But former Los Blancos playmaker Steve McManaman recognized something extra in his former teammate. Reflecting on the poise and composure the French maestro once demonstrated as an athlete, which aptly saw him enjoy a Champions League title with Real Madrid, and ironically, success with Juventus. Not to mention a World Cup victory with France, McManaman declared, "Zidane is the coolest man alive." It seemed a big call, but it's one that now seems an understatement. When Zidane became the first manager in the Champions League era to win back-to-back titles with Real Madrid, we finally understood the sheer genius of the man. How did he achieve such swift success? To start with, there's no substitute for respect when it comes to mentoring a team. When former Real great Roberto Carlos asked left-back Marcelo Vieira what he thought of his manager following Zizou's first Champions League conquest, Carlos recognized the magic his former teammate was conjuring.
I spoke with Marcelo and with the rest of the players, and they're all very happy with Zizou. When the team stands by its commander, by its boss, and they feel well, then you usually see results.
To earn control of the locker room, Zidane dealt with some serious egos. That after the break. So Zidane clearly had the respect of his players. Let's just pause and take a moment to reflect on what that actually means. Cutting straight to the chase, the boss had to deal with this guy. For a manager to negotiate the monolithic ego of a player like Cristiano Ronaldo, who, by the way, is strutting around to the sound of a stadium full of people chanting, "Cristiano Ballon d'Or," is nothing short of extraordinary. Seriously, have a gander at the champ's self-assessment following his 2 goals that led Real to the double in 2017.
The most important is that I did, again, amazing season. Me and my teammates, we win the double. I think the people don't have words to criticize because the numbers don't lie, you know? To speak about myself, individual, I don't need to speak because the numbers, they don't lie.
Ronaldo had every right to beat his chest. His numbers are insane and telling when stacked alongside Zidane's when he was a player. While they played vastly different roles, Ronaldo's career goal haul, which reached 600 in the 2017 final, will always dazzle. But Zizou's achievements, including a World Cup, puts him in a rare league of greats. Few could hold their own against Ronaldo, but he is one of them. And it wasn't just egos Zidane had to juggle. See, the Champions League final in Cardiff attracted possibly the coolest band on earth, the Black Eyed Peas, to perform. And frontman will.i.am summed up what that meant.
It's a lot of eyeballs, a lot of football fans, and hopefully we could bring, a lot of music fans to watch us too.
He also added his own endorsement just for extra pressure.
So who are you rooting for tomorrow then?
I'm rooting for Madrid because it starts with the M. Boom, how about that? There you go.
Yet with arguably the greatest ever player in his midst, and with the eyeballs of the world on him, as will.i.am puts it, Zidane kept his cool. And perhaps that's because amid all the noise, he managed to focus on his players.
The key of the success is that everyone felt important this season.
And let's be honest, the rest of the team wasn't exactly made up of humble pies. Zizou also proved how cool he was in the aftermath of the 2017 La Liga victory, when in his post-game press conference he was treated to this. While he has the steely eyes of someone who could play James Bond, rather than get all uptight about his young lunatic players soaking him in champagne, Zidane had a dance with them. So Zizou may very well be the coolest boss to ever step into the job. And because he's proven his icy-cool genius as a manager, we can conveniently overlook some of his less chilled moments. Like that time he unleashed on Italy's Marco Materazzi with a savage chest-high headbutt in the 2006 World Cup final, an incident that made headlines the world over. But so cool did Zidane become that when he began winning Champions League titles as a manager, even Materazzi forgave him.
I don't have a problem with either Juventus or with Zidane. Both teams are here because they did great things.
Under such extraordinary pressure at the biggest club in the world, juggling the biggest egos in the known universe, and still coming out on top and smelling like a rose, Zizou may have proven he is the coolest man alive. They emerged from the shadows on a goal worth a fortune. Huddersfield proved the value of passion. Terriers by nature are fearless, unrelenting and brave. Maybe not this one, though. You might not have ever heard of Huddersfield Town Terriers, but they've been around since 1908. Powerhouses in the English top flight in the 1920s and 30s. They won an FA Cup in 1922 and then 3 straight First Division titles. In their attempt to set a new record of a 4th straight trophy, they finished second. But up until 2017, they'd endured a 45-year absence from England's elite competition. That was until Christopher Schindler produced a sparkling £170 million strike in that penalty shootout against Reading, delivering the perennial strugglers a place in the English Premier League for the first time in the competition's modern existence. Tipped for relegation from the Championship in 2015-16, and with a wage budget of just £12 million, Schindler's heroics ensured Huddersfield would instead do the opposite. And as for that £170 million, an estimate of Huddersfield's share of revenue from the EPL, well, that helps.
It's a big achievement, and I'm so happy, so proud about my players, my group, and I'm happy for the whole town.
But with such a small budget in the Championship, was it belief and determination rather than talent that allowed Town to take steps towards its former glory?
No experience in English football, no experience in the league, no experience in winter break, no experience in playoffs. Experience is important, but if you have passion, desire, and an idea, you can match it. And I'm so happy that we have proven that this is possible and that we brought this fairy tale to a happy end.
And 2018, the climax to their maiden EPL venture, the year of the dog. How fitting. And in a sport where money carries so much clout and titles can essentially be purchased, it's as inspiring as it is comforting to know that more heartfelt values can reign supreme on the pitch. But it's not the first time an undisputed underdog has vastly exceeded expectations. When Leicester City stunned the football world by winning the EPL in 2015-16, it defied 5,000 to 1 odds under Claudio Ranieri to clinch the title. Just a year removed from a season where it scarcely avoided relegation. How? Because, like Huddersfield, it too relied on spirit rather than stars.
Who arrive must have the same spirit. It's not important. All the time I said to my players, it's not important the name, the opponent. We want to grow up together. That is our philosophy.
That philosophy was again on display at Leicester's title parade, where Ranieri went full Italian.
I think this is because the team won, but also they played with the heart, with the soul, and the people understood this.
Don't you love an underdog? Up next, big calls were made early in his career, but has Eden Hazard lived up to the hype? Stocky yet silky Belgian star Eden Hazard has always had the ability to make people stand up and take notice. Hazard has had great success. A Young Player of the Year award winner in Chelsea's 2014-15 English Premier League title-winning season, prompting then-manager Jose Mourinho to make a big call about the emerging star he'd found in his midst.
Eden Hazard is just probably the best young player in the world with legs to go there. But give him time.
And that was after earning the same plaudits as a youngster with Ligue 1 side Lille. His progression from the French league to England's elite had Hazard himself reaching for the stars.
One day I want to be the best.
But with talent comes expectation, sometimes a lot. And that's where we ask whether Hazard has lived up to the billing. He's good enough that Manchester United resorted to kicking Hazard during their 1-0 loss to Chelsea in the 2017 FA Cup quarter-final, much to the dismay of coach Antonio Conte.
A tactic to play and to go to kick the opponent. It's not football for me. I don't think that this could be a tactic.
Although perhaps that's the kind of attention good players must expect when their profiles grow. What did become clear during the first few years of his Premier League career was that when Hazard was in form, Chelsea was too. But when he fell away, his team did so dramatically. It was a big call back then by Mourinho to suggest Hazard could be on his way to the top of the game. As influential as Hazard could be, Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo, football's modern-day champions, are likely to remain a class above. If you take a look at the numbers, between the ages of 22 and 26, Hazard scored almost as many domestic and European goals as Messi and Ronaldo. But the challenge was always whether he could maintain and lift his output as he closes in on his 30s. Not to mention that the Ballon d'Or has become almost unattainable for anyone other than Messi and Ronaldo. The duo has amassed more than a dozen domestic league titles between them and a haul of Champions League triumphs. The numbers are staggering. So in terms of what Hazard's legacy might be, could was always the key word in Jose Mourinho's prophecy. But can he make the necessary inroads into the champion careers of Messi and Ronaldo? Talent is one thing, but work rate and effort is another. And that is an area of Hazard's game that came under fire early in his career. But under the watchful eye of manager Antonio Conte, his improvement in this area was immense.
But someone can be surprised for the character of Hazard. I'm learning to know him very well in this season, and I can tell that he has a strong character.
Hazard's rise to football fame also has him tipped to trump the great Belgian Vincenzo Schifo. Schifo won 4 Belgian Pro League titles with RSC Anderlecht, a Ligue 1 trophy with Monaco, and a Coppa Italia with Torino, as well as winning the Belgian Footballer of the Year in 1990-91. His most famed effort came in 1986 as he won the FIFA World Cup Young Player of the Year, leading Belgium to a semi-final appearance in Mexico against Diego Maradona's Argentina. Netting 432 goals in 4 seasons as a junior, Schifo earned the nickname Little Pele. Fair enough too. While Hazard might have surpassed Schifo at club level, to properly eclipse him, he needs to lead Belgium to greater international triumphs. So to answer the initial question of whether Eden Hazard has lived up to the hype, we'd have to say, not yet. The early signs were promising, but to be born in the same era as Messi and Ronaldo just might have been his undoing. We'll agree to reserve judgment on Hazard for now, but if all else fails, at least he can lay claim to being of similar stature to Lionel Messi. Surely that's something, right? Impressive on the pitch, and maybe useful for other things too. Are football skills transferable? You may think that the skills a footballer learns are good for football and nothing else. But nothing could be further from the truth. Football skills can transfer into many different things. Brazilian star Neymar and some friends thought they'd stretch themselves and challenge each other to a bit of table tennis with a twist. While it's not going to change the world, these South American smarty pants prove it's not just on the pitch where footballers can show off. Neymar's also been known to lend a hand in the odd airport. Barca teammate Iniesta illustrated he's not confined to the competitive version of the game either, and can use his skills for creative outlet. Sometimes this stuff works in reverse, and the skills athletes pick up elsewhere are useful in football. In the MLS, Oklahoma City Energy defender Michael Harris must have spent time with the Cirque du Soleil to learn how to do this. Teammate Miguel Gonzalez might very well have been in the same troupe, demonstrating mind-boggling acrobatics to make good on the throw. Thinking outside the box, football has the potential to prepare a player for a career in daycare. Former Chelsea and AS Roma defender Ashley Cole and his LA Galaxy teammate Baggio Husidic took on 30 kids all by themselves for a different kind of after-school care. Only problem is when you see them looking this serious dribbling around an 8-year-old girl. Or Husidic getting this excited at whooping his juvenile opposition. Not too sure these guys are the right profile for babysitting. A background in peacekeeping and diplomacy might have been handy during New York City FC's match against Philadelphia Union in 2017, when David Villa nailed this ridiculous goal. Because whatever that Philadelphia player was saying to his goalkeeper weren't words of kindness. But there's one activity to which football players are particularly well suited, certainly more so than any other sport. And that's this ancient institution, the annual Cooper's Hill cheese rolling competition near Gloucester in the UK. Because let's face it, taking dives and rolling around has become an art in football. Some players would be better than others at the old Cooper's Hill Cascade. Barcelona midfielder Sergio Busquets would be a natural. Former Brazilian star Rivaldo could have earned an Oscar for some of his dives, so he'd kill it. And Cristiano Ronaldo could certainly handle Cooper's Hill. Well, maybe not so much anymore, but in his younger days. At least these maniacs have got a legitimate reason for not staying on their feet. Still to come, someone turn the volume down. Which football personality should have been banned from the microphone? Some football personalities shouldn't be allowed near a microphone. Like ex-FIFA president Sepp Blatter, who picked up plenty of bad habits being around football, some of which came from the fans. During his victory speech in 2015, after being re-elected, he seemed to be channeling a kind of loose hooligan spirit.
I thank you for the trust and confidence. Trust and confidence, together we go. Let's go FIFA, let's go FIFA. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
It really seemed like he was hanging out with his mates in a pub, rather than standing on stage in front of lots of important people.
I like you. I like my job, and I like to be with you. I'm not perfect. Nobody is perfect. But we will do a good job together, I'm sure.
But hey, maybe that's just how Sepp rolls.
Let me tell you, I like you. You brought me again into the FIFA. I stay with you. You have voted for me. Although they have voted for the Prince Ali, I congratulate you, it's a good candidate. But I'm now the president of everybody.
Thank goodness you're not the president of everybody anymore, Sepp. Some personalities handle the mic far better, though. Former Liverpool and Bayern Munich midfielder Xabi Alonso showed when he was given the floor he could entertain a crowd. Seen when announcing his retirement at the end of the 2017 Bundesliga season. Counting his old side Liverpool's 2005 Champions League victory, the chap couldn't help himself and sent a well-timed jab at his boss, Carlo Ancelotti, who once managed Milan when it came runner-up in a certain Champions League final.
And I was lucky enough to play a fantastic final. And to win that Champions League that most of the people will remember.
So wir sollten nicht übersetzen.
Okay. He knows that cup is mine.
Former Newcastle manager Alan Pardew demonstrated exceptional cool during a press conference in which the sound system was interrupted by a strange announcement of Ebola outbreak.
I mean, he's only had, I think, 1.5 reserve games to play like he did.
Okay. Are you ready to go, yeah? Okay. Ebola causes the following symptoms: sudden high fever, extreme tiredness.
You're not even moving your lips when you're saying that. It's brilliant.
Brilliant. Not alike, really, drinking in Manchester.
Rather than freak out at the strange hijacking, Pardew barely lifted an eyebrow. Now that's a man who could handle the mic.